Hello, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to Everlasting Summer. As we already have finished the story, the main stories actually, we're gonna go to mods and users scenarios. And what we begin with is Alisa's new ending. English, well, of course English. I don't know Russian. Alright, so we have 5 scenarios we have to play, and first one is thought to be the official scenario for the game actually, and that's Alisa's new ending. And let's go with it for the start. An annoying song was playing in our head. Alright, I started it before. Sorry about that. In order to check if it really is in English and if it works. Alright, or rather just a melody, a pattern of repeating notes. Seems like an electric guitar, and a rather crusty one at that. However, it seemed like this sound floated around me, and was slowly taking me somewhere far away, if that's possible in this infinite void in which it seemed like I was. But the sound weakened, seemed to move further and further away, and soon enough it was completely gone. I sleepily opened one eye, okay? Was this a dream? Just a nightmare? Or was it something else? This headache is unbearable. It feels like yesterday I won in a drinking game against my own conscience. And when was that yesterday, anyway? After all, we drank vodka with Alisa on the day before yesterday. Then there was a long road, bonfire, the bus. I turned my back to the wall, and I was back in my room. No, something like this was to be expected. And why the hell would I even be surprised? What if I have never managed to escape from that camp? Would I be left in that world forever? Would I think that everything was okay and I was fine? Would I think that everyone was fine and everything was as it seemed? Why I get surprised now? Slowly moving from one leg to another, I've made my way to the kitchen, took out a bottle of cheap beer and gulped half of it at once. And immediately put it back with a cringe. Being half asleep, everything started to bang in my head. The world went out the door for a brief moment, but my mood has gone up a little. Or I just didn't care anymore. In the room, everything was like normal. My PC was hissing away with dusty fans, speakers crackled once in a while, and it was snowing outside. One more fact that clearly stated that even if it was summer yesterday, today is obviously winter. Good, the nightmare has ended. I'll forget about this damn dream in an hour. After all, this is how the human brain works. However, the internet forums, messengers and even music, which was playing out of the cheap speakers, weren't of much help. The memories still popped up in my mind. The scenery from Sovyonok. It seemed like it was so distant, but at the same time it seemed so native, like an old faded picture from a Polaroid from my childhood. And now thinking about it, not much time has passed. One day or less. But was it real? And if it was, is it gone forever? I was scared to admit that I don't want to sit around looking at the monitor like that. I don't want to listen to the annoying sound of the keyboard and mouse, banging away random patterns of letters. I want to go back to the camp, summer, to go back to the girls. And damn it, even back to electronic. And Alisa. Warm tears suddenly started to roll down my cheeks. It happens, you don't want to cry, because you don't know why. But you are clearly not the one to say that. Not everything can be understood with logic and reasoning. Not all the answers can be found. And right now, I'm ready to give everything up, just to have the ability to go back there. Even though I don't know the future, I don't care, I will deal with it on the spot. Maybe that day, a week ago, someone heard my subconscious wish, in which I was scared to admit to even myself, and transferred me into Sovyonok. Just to transfer me back, like this. But this is unfair. Even though I clearly understood that if I had a choice, I wouldn't change it. Just because it's better for your soul to be happy, even for a brief moment, rather than never having felt true happiness. That's true. But maybe everything isn't lost yet. The time was passing by, life was slowly going back to its original pace, no matter how worried I was about that, but memories tend to slowly fade away. Life and grains, blown away by a storm. And also, something changed in my life, certainly. I became more open, sociable, and I have found it easier to talk to people I don't know. Many people noticed the changes that I had gone through, they simply couldn't ignore them. Soon enough I took an old guitar out of the dusty corner. First chords were tough, but every time I wanted to give up I remembered Alisa. She was standing in front of my eyes and looked at me reproachfully. And when I managed to do it, she smiled and laughed, just like on that moonlit night at the stage. It's hard to learn something with an imaginary tutor, but the imaginary Alisa was perfect for a motivator. I was scared to fail in front of her, and not because I was scared of her age. Of her rage, not age. I just remember when she played back then, on the guitar that resembled ours through a crappy speaker with no amp, without internet, to look for tabs without a tutor by her side. She was playing sincerely, giving herself into the music. Maybe someday I could play like that as well, but I'm going to have to put a lot of effort into it, maybe for the first time in my life. I was truly ready to give everything I have, fearless of any difficulties or failure, going until I get what I want. Something started to get together, but it should have. I've practiced so long. Not only I just wanted to play other people's songs, but to compose my own as well. It wasn't easier to say the least, and maybe even harder that to learn to play the guitar. I had to think not only about myself, but I had to be an entire band. Rhythm sections should be in unison. Add a bit of keyboard here strings, here a bit of rhythm guitar, and here solo. I didn't have any clear preferences. Some of my songs ended up being pop, some were metal, and everything in between. However, I didn't plan on being a one-man orchestra, so the next step was to create a band. Firstly, curiously enough, I found a drummer, then bass guitar and next keyboard. The remaining was a second guitar player, because I wasn't sure if I could do all the parts alone. Plus, having two guitars gives you a wider musical range. We had a couple of songs made out of stitched together samples and everything seemed like just a bit, and we can start rehearsing. But some didn't like our music style, some unexperienced members, some even didn't like the name, so the second guitar searches turned out to be rather long. But in the end, finally we began to rehearse. Something went wrong from the very beginning. This happens. Everyone has their own vision to music, different sets of skills, and even your characters can just mismatch. And so, my first month fell apart after the first few rehearsals. Okay. Obviously I was upset, but I didn't give up and managed to find new members. With the same result. Not good. I would say terrible. Spring has slowly replaced winter. However, as it happens often out here, times of the year change only on calendars. Outside it was still very cold, and snowstorms were going strong. Just like this weather today, it almost seemed like there weren't the last months of playing guitar. There were no failed attempts at assembling a band. It just felt like I just woke up after coming back from Sovyonok. Or like the dream about that camp, I can't tell for certain now. But these memories left nothing but happiness and bright sadness. My thoughts were interrupted by a flashing message window. Hey, do you need a guitar player? Yeah, we need one. I quickly responded. Not many people messaged me anyway, and regarding a band. Well, here I am messaging you. Well, thanks. How long have you been playing for? I played guitar even since my childhood, but I have played an acoustic one earlier. but right now, playing it seriously, not too long ago. Alright. Well, I'm a beginner too, you know. Understand, it's alright. We exchanged a couple of more meaningless messages and agreed to meet. Logically, it would seem good to arrange a meeting on our rehearsal stage to evaluate each other's playing skills. But a band, collective, is not only a sum of skills, but people interacting, their characters. Many famous bands fell apart not because of someone not hitting the right notes, but for many different reasons. And again, I'm standing on the 410 bus stop. I wonder, will it take me back to Sovyonok today? And mainly, do I want to be taken away myself? No, I have things to do, things that will not wait, even the meeting with the guitar player. Little by little, but it's some progress. Some refused immediately without even meeting me in person. The snowstorm was going stronger and stronger, so I have raised my collar and buttoned my coat. When is summer going to begin? Warm summer, just like back then, in Sovyonok. Sadness took over me for a second, but I've cleared my mind of those thoughts. It's not polite to look like a deadhead while meeting a girl for the first time. But we are going to simply play together, and not... Yeah, right, simply. I wonder, what is she like? It's obvious that looks don't usually correlate to skills, but it's always more pleasant to stand on the stage with a cute girl and not with a 300-pound hero, Reno. And why did we even agree to meet on this bus stop? This thought painfully hit my conscience, which it should have done way earlier. Hey, waiting for me? I turned around, but a sudden wind gust nearly blew me off my feet, and snow filled my eyes and mouth. The girl laughed loudly, maybe even a bit too loud. Sorry. Spewing snow out, I mumbled. I hope you're not as clumsy on the stage, are you? Finally, I rubbed my eyes clean and looked at her. Alisa was standing right in front of me. No, a girl that looked exactly like her. It seemed like she was surprised too, but she looked way more calm. Have we met before? It seems so. I mean, no, of course we have met. In the summer camp, Sovyonok, remember? She looked at me fixedly, almost as trying hard to remember something. Summer camp? No, I don't remember. Actually, I've never been to any summer camps. I don't believe it, I said softly. I didn't want to believe it. I know that the person in front of me is Alisa, and don't give a damn about anything else. I just feel it. I know it. I don't know. The girl was confused and turned her eyes away from me. I don't know, and that's it. She stomped her foot on the ground and her eyes shined. Maybe, but it was all in a dream. It wasn't real. In a dream? Do you think two people can see the exact same dream? How can I know what you've seen in yours? The girl turned around. I think that you know, the camp, an evening with a guitar on the stage, the bomb shelter on the old building, vodka, and finally... I was confused. Well, you know. There's a point. I don't understand. Alisa, I was completely sure now. She looked at me with tearing eyes. I'd like to understand, but can't. In the first seconds after going back, everything seemed so real. I don't know now. If you're really Semyon, I thought that we'll go back. Together. I thought we'll end up in this district center, or elsewhere. It doesn't matter. And then... She sobbed and continued. I thought it was just a dream. I woke up and couldn't understand what's real, here or there, and who is me or her. But in the end everything made sense, that me just wanted to remain there. She stopped for a moment. With you. I couldn't bear with it anymore, and I squeezed her in open arms. It seemed like everything remained there, in that dream, and we are not destined to meet here, in real life. I believe in that myself. But my fairy tale will have a happy ending. I'm sorry, I whispered. Why are you constantly apologizing? Alisa barely laughed. I don't know, I just want to apologize. I think because I'm at fault for something. Yeah, you're certainly at fault. For what? I asked in surprise. Don't know. And Alisa responded and snapped onto my lips in a hot kiss. Just like that night near the bonfire, but now it's real. Like I didn't spend that week in Sovyonok. Maybe that was just a dream, building our meeting in real life. I don't believe in faith, but my desire to believe in doom is even less. But even now, a couple minutes ago, everything seemed like doom is will. So let it be like it's supposed to be. You know, I believe. I move away from Alisa for a bit. In what? It's not that simple. Maybe Sovyonok was just a dream, but we've had it for a reason. Alisa started laughing loudly, then her face turned red, and she stepped away from me. So that means this is the first time we see each other? That means we don't know each other. Well, it seems so. Then? Her face was turning red even more, and apparently she was getting angry. I don't kiss people I don't know. I'm not like that if you... Alisa tried to slap me in the face, but it was a bad attempt. I dodged easily. Well, at least something remains the same in the past and present worlds. I smiled. Fine. Her face changed to a naughty smile once again. But if you play on the same level as back then, I don't have anything to do with you. Well, you can hear for yourself. I stretched my hand out. The snowstorm became heavier, but the wind calmed down and it was completely silent on the bus stop. Even the windows in nearby houses turned black, almost like they were watching us. You know, you're not that big of a loser. Alisa grabbed my hand. Now I'm certain that I'll be able to achieve something in music, together with Alisa. Translation by Spirit. And that's the ending I wanted to see. Seriously. Why didn't you put that in the game from the very beginning? Oh man. Now I'm happy. Alright. Hope you enjoyed that story. From the mode, we have 4 more to go, if I remember correctly. So see you in the next episode, which will include the next story. Bye.